if I can ask Paul, can you just tell us briefly about your week in New York so far and how you're doing?
Yeah, no, it's. I'd like to thank the Yankees and New Era and really all the people because it's been a heck of a week, and for our players and our families and really everyone a part of this, it's truly been a great experience. And we talk about this all the time with our players that the one way that you can give back is our part is playing well, and I've liked the way that we've prepared throughout it, and we need to be prepared because we're going up against a good team. But the week's been awesome, and the number of first-time experiences for so many people on our team, it's been first class, and it's certainly something that they'll remember for the rest of their life.
Thank you. Mark, could you share your experience so far?
Sure. Again, want to thank the Yankees, Pinstripe, New Era Pinstripe Bowl people, everybody on the committee, everybody who's been in charge of making our experience great. It's been great, and a lot of things that our players got to do that they had never done before. So many of our players are first time in New York City. We know, being in New York City during Christmas time is a great time of the year to be here, and our guys got to experience some things that if they had come a different time of the year, wouldn't have seen. But I think probably the most meaningful experience was the going to the memorial for the World Trade Center, and that was quite an experience. I think it meant a lot to me personally. I can remember where I was, when that happened years ago in 2001, first time head coach at Georgia, and right in the middle of a staff meeting, we're getting ready to watch a recruit actually, and as we were getting the TV on, ready to pop in a tape to look at, we saw what everybody in the world saw if they happened to be watching TV at that time, and but it was very meaningful to be there, and it's been a great experience for our players all the way around.
Thank you again. As a reminder, tomorrow's kickoff is 5:15, and the game is going to be broadcast on ESPN and by ESPN Radio. With that, we can take some questions. John?
Hey, doing? This is for both or either of you. After the events of the past few days, once you get to this point in the walkthroughs, does it start just being regular game week in a sense, or game eve, if you will?
Yeah, I think that for our players, absolutely, and that's the exciting part of it. You come and you look forward to the opportunity to play the game, and certainly, like I said earlier, you want to balance it out and take in, all that the bowl is offered. But absolutely, the day before and day of, it's all about the game.
We're in our normal routine. I say normal. We actually had a walkthrough here in the stadium. We wouldn't normally do that, but it was a time for us to show the players the locker room, the stadium itself. Just seeing the football field inside of a baseball stadium was a unique thing for them to see. But you could tell the turf's in tremendous shape. I think Notre Dame played a game here against Syracuse a while back, and it actually works out pretty good as far as the formatting of the field in this baseball stadium. And I think the players needed to see that. And but after the walkthroughs this morning, we'll give them a little downtime, and then we'll crank back up around dinner time and getting into our team meeting, and then transitioning into offense, defense, and segment meetings tonight. So then tomorrow be a normal game day as it relates to the 5:30 kickoff. So we'll be ready to go.
Jason, again on the right.
Paul, you had a few defensive backs sit out practice a couple days ago, Dakota, Madison Cone, and then Duron Harrell. Do you expect those three to play on Thursday?
Yes.
And then do you know the status of David Edwards yet?
Yeah, all year told you who was out for sure, and everyone else plan on having them, or else we'd have to decide in game time.
Front row, Christy.
Mark, I know that it feels like we've asked you this question a million times.
Sure.
Do you know who your starting quarterback is going to be for Thursday?
Right.
And will you be able to share that with us?
Yeah. Malik's going to start for us, Malik Rozier, and he's had really good practices. We have, he's been working in that spot from the majority of the bowl practices, and we're ready for him to do a good job.
And if I can follow up on that, is Nkosi suspended for Thursday's game?
He's not suspended. He is available to play as of right now, but we felt like Malik was the guy that's going to give us the best shot.
Front row on the left.
Mark, my usual question about Jaron Williams. Can we expect to see Jaron in this game?
I'm not going to predict whether he'll get in the game or not. There's a possibility of that happening, but as of right now, we're not sitting here and saying, there's a certain series of the game he's going to get in or anything like that, but he'll certainly be there and be available to play.
Also, with all the news recently about videos and social media, is Nkosi in any way? Has he been disciplined in any way?
Well, I think the biggest thing is for all of our young men when it comes to social media to understand that anything you put out there is very, very public. I mean, I think they know that, but I don't think they really understand, how powerful those things are. And, we've been talking to these guys about making sure that, I'm not ready to shut it down, okay, because I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but when we do go on social media, we need to be thinking in terms of, will this be helpful to the team, or will it hurt the team? You're part of a team, you're part of an organization. You got to make decisions that's going to be positive for yourself, for your family name, and for the university, and for the program. And there's a responsibility to do things right when it comes to social media. So,
as far as the discipline part, Nkosi, has he been disciplined at all since the news?
He's been educated, I'll say that.
Okay.
Again, in the front row.
Mark, can you talk a little bit about forgetting Nkosi for a minute and Malik? And, obviously the last few years have been quite a up and down ride.
For Malik?
Yeah, Malik and
yeah.
Just this year what he's been through.
Sure. I got
in the bowl game.
Right. Well, got a lot of respect for Malik and how he's handled everything, the ups and the downs of his career and decisions that we've made as coaches that affect him and affect his status. And he's always showed up to come to work with a good attitude. He's always been a great friend to his teammates, especially in the quarterback room. And now here he is, starting his last game of his career for his team, and I'm happy for him. I'm thankful that he's handled everything the way he has, and regardless of what happens in the game, he's a first-class human being and handled everything in a first-class manner.
And as a follow-up, Paul, how has Miami's quarterback situation affected your game planning for this game? And now you know that if Malik Rozier's starting, does that have any impact on what Wisconsin's going to do tomorrow?
No, certainly you're well aware of it, and I think anytime you get into a bowl preparation, you are well aware of, you have time, and you're well aware of what has happened, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, knowing you can't get to all that in a game. But I don't think it's necessarily affected the preparation, nor are we going to, here's the news and let's go change all that we're going to do. So I think that there's obviously good awareness of really what everyone has done in their roles, and yet you got to go out and you got to play the game, and so not dramatic by any means, I don't think.
Any other follow-ups? Susan?
Hi, Mark. I'm sorry to harp on this, but in the last bowl game I went to a couple years ago, I guess in Orlando, you announced suspensions for like 7 players in Orlando. Is there anybody that's suspended for this game or who's ineligible to play for any reason? And, when will you release that?
Right. If anything like that happens, we'll release it just prior to game time.
Mark, to shift gears a little bit, just having Manny back this week, what kind of impact has that had for the team, and how much has it meant to have him here for this?
Well, I think it means a lot that Manny wanted to be here and finish and be with the guys he's been coaching all along collectively, the defensive side of the ball, and then obviously his linebacker position, his segment group. And, it's kind of an interesting thing for him where, now that he's a head coach, his role is going to change as far as the coaching part, the specific coaching position, specifically coaching a position. He's always coached a position, and now he's not going to, I don't think he's going to be the linebackers coach at, Temple. So I think he's kind of realizing maybe this is one of the last times for a while that he's going to be that position coach and that coordinator. And I think he's enjoyed it. I think he's appreciated every bit of it. And when he let me know that he was wanting to do it, I was all for it, and it's turned out to be really good.
John, on the right.
Both of you again. It's not that often you get 3-4 weeks to prepare for an opponent. In this case, obviously, it's the second year in a row. With that much lead time, is there more of an inclination that you feel need to do something different or surprise the other team in some way as opposed to just the simple execution that you're normally looking for?
I think that, a lot of the first part of your bowl preparation didn't know who you were playing, and so you go into I think it's really good for your younger players particularly, and then once you find out who you are playing, and you got to look at it, and I think I've made the mistake, I know years ago probably of trying to put in something all new, and it's got to be what your players know and how does it fit against the team you're playing, and yet you do have some time to maybe give it a little bit different look or something, but I suppose that's our approach.
Well, the first part of the time we could be practicing with our players, we were in the middle of a lot of recruiting, and they were doing finishing up academics and things of that nature, and quite frankly, we don't have a lot of depth, enough depth to have that scrimmage or that time that for young players to get a full scrimmage in and things of that nature that maybe other programs have. Our numbers aren't quite there yet in regard to our scholarship and our walk-on program. It's tough to get a massive amount of walk-ons at our private institution, but so we've kind of spent more time on focusing on the game more than some of these other things that other people do that have enough people to do it. But you still got to get good at tackling again and blocking again. I mean, the fundamentals of the game is what it's going to come down to, and even the conditioning. When you get away from it for a minute and come back, you got to make sure they're back in football shape. And we did a lot of conditioning, even at times we weren't practicing. And then when we got back to practicing, we made sure we got a little bit of extra conditioning after practices that we wouldn't normally do, just to try to get everybody's wind back. But the main goal for us is to focus on the team we're about to play and focus on the game plan, and that's how we spent most of our time preparing.
Any additional questions? One more in front. Can you wait for the microphone?
Mark, going through some of the adversity that you guys went through this year, does that put even more significance on the bowl game to try to turn the tide a little bit and get some positive momentum going into the off season?
Well, I mean, the game is very important. I mean, every game we play is important, or we wouldn't play it. And we do want to allow our seniors to leave on a high note, and we do want to create as much positive momentum as we can in the program. I mean, everybody wants that, and so the significance of this game is very important, whether we're, regardless of the record, because it is the next game that we have, and it's a game that a lot of people are going to be excited about watching, and our guys are going to be excited about playing in it.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Susan?
Coach Rick, do you feel how do you feel about the guys that are now contemplating? I don't know if they've decided already.
Yeah.
Like, Travis, Joe, Shaq, Michael Pinckney, as far as entering the draft early. Do you know anything about that, and how secure are you that they'll stay?
Yeah, well, I don't think this is really the time and place for that, question or answer. Not that it's a bad question. I know it's a question of interest, but at this point, about 24 hours before kick, I'm not going to make any kind of statement about that. But obviously, we would love them all to stay for sure.
And front row on the right.
Paul, how has Alex handled the last several weeks, knowing he's not going to be playing and then dealing with his head injury? And in addition to that, what sort of advice or in what ways have you seen him help Jack to prepare for Miami, given his unique experience starting against Miami last year?
Well, I think that he hasn't gone through something like this, so there's not a frame of reference. He's handling it better than this or not, and a lot of it, heck, earlier in the bowl prep he was going, and that was good, and then came back, and then it was finals, and finals just finished up and going. So I think he's been good, and Jack certainly has attacked the preparation, and I'm proud of what he's done.
Getting on the left.
And I actually wanted to ask you both this question. Just, it's so rare to get a rematch in a bowl game, and you guys did play each other last year. What has it been like dealing with that in terms of the preparation and just the challenge, knowing that it's an unusual situation?
It is unusual. I mean, that was the first thing that I thought when we saw who we were playing. Not so much it was good or bad. It was just rare. I mean, I don't know if anybody looked it up, but I don't know how many times the same two teams have played each other back-to-back years in a bowl game that wasn't some type of playoff or national championship type game. So it was unusual to hear that, but we know firsthand what a great team Wisconsin has and what a great job coach has done with his program, and we know we got our work cut out for us. We knew it, the moment we heard it, and so a lot of respect, and hopefully we'll do better than we did a year ago.
For us, certainly, once you found out, it grabs your attention. There's a ton of respect for Miami. Knew what it when you played them, what type of game that was, and yet I do think that it's two different teams. A lot of the names are familiar and whatnot, but it's two different teams this year, and which provides for a fresh game, and yet, like I said, there is you look at the roster and what about that, and the kids played against them, and you watch it and you see the improvement that has been made, and so it is unusual, but it's certainly right when you first find out and then you throw on the tape, it does snap you in. You better have a good preparation because you're going against a really good football team.